we're back. We're ready for the top half of the list.
Ooh.
Numbers 5 through 1.
All right.
So far, we don't have any sticker picks dropped.
No stickers yet.
Just to put that out there.
That's
no stickers.
True. Those are lingering.
You know, the way that you were talking about it, I thought for sure Atlanta was going to get a sticker, but
that was my runner-up sticker pick. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a feeling. And I'm self-stickering that in the back of my head for my own personal
Good.
watch ASAPs.
Good.
Anyway.
All right. Number 5.
Here we are. We're home stretching.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Number 5 is an extremely popular show that ran for quite a while.
Okay.
Launched a lot of very successful careers.
Oh, okay.
Is absolutely hilarious. And that is the United States version of The Office.
Yes, okay. Number 5.
Yeah. At number 5. And so we talked a little bit about Scrubs, how it did a great job with the emotional and the character development, and there were these actual arcs and plots and stuff that which is something that is kind of a more traditional sitcom type of thing to do.
Yeah, I guess.
Like you might have seasonal arcs with other stuff, but I don't know. Anyway, The Office is brilliant. It's the characters on that show are hilarious. Every time a new character comes on, that character's hilarious.
Yeah.
They made so many things work on that show. And they took, and I in brainstorming, I had the UK version of The Office, in my brainstorming, and it was excellent, but they really took it and improved upon it.
Well, they had a lot more time, to be fair.
Well, yeah, they took a lot more time. I think Gervais certainly could have run that longer if he wanted to.
Yeah.
Anyway, point is, it started off, I remember being annoyed when it first came on the air because it really, those first couple episodes were almost line for line and shot for shot.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, really, they're just going to do this? I don't want to watch that.
Right.
And then it found its own footing. And by towards the end of season 2, it really had kind of branched off completely. And it was its own thing entirely.
Yeah.
And you could see Carell just own that role. He wasn't doing an American version of Ricky Gervais anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which he very much was early on. He was doing Michael Scott.
Yeah, that's true.
And Michael Scott was a very different character.
Yeah.
Dwight Schrute, you have the way they built up his whole farm and his cousin Mose, and the whole thing with him and Angela is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Creed Bratton is one of my favorite characters on anything ever. I feel like everything that comes out of Creed's mouth is solid gold. I love Stanley.
Yeah. How do you feel about Jim and Pam?
I love it. I feel like, boy, what a minefield they had to walk through on that one.
Yeah.
Because that could have been so schmaltzy and so corny. And they resisted the temptation to go down the roads that shows always go down in these situations. Like, I remember when Jim and Pam got together. Yeah. Spoiler. If you haven't seen The Office by now, you're not. Whatever.
That's kind of common knowledge, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I remember when they got together, I'm like, okay, great. Now we're going to do the break up and get back together thing 20 times. Yeah. And they took it in a different direction. They took it in, that's all I'm going to say. Yeah. They took it in a different direction. And I really, really respected and enjoyed that. Yeah. And it remained hilarious. And
although to be fair, it's sort of like sexual harassment at the office in the beginning with them, but okay, go
on. I'll leave that up to more capable minds when it comes to we'll let the HR people decide. Okay, but it was definitely
a little stalkery there for a while.
It was a little stalkery for a while.
Okay.
But it's it's just, again, a very quotable show.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to get many angry emails about this one.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like
it's pretty popular. Yeah.
When I had it at 5, I thought to myself, I'm probably going to catch some flack for having it so low.
I mean, it's top 5 TV shows all time. It's not like you're dissing it. It's a solid spot.
That's true. That is and I put it above Arrested Development.
Oof, yeah, see?
Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's my number 5.
If anyone's going to catch flag, it's going to be me, because The Office didn't make my list.
What?
Yeah. It's like 11-12 for me. It was really close. It was a painful late cut. It just missed it for me.
So what was it about it that just...
Nothing. Just personal preference.
Just other things were better too.
Yeah, I really liked it. I don't know if I loved it.
You know what I like about it? Yeah. It's one of those shows. It's just so rewatchable for me, which means they're going to make millions and millions of dollars the way that Seinfeld and Friends do.
Oh, it's going to do well in syndication. Yeah,
it's going to be in syndication forever.
Yeah, they're
going to make so much money off of that. But anyway,
yeah, they're going to be fine.
It's compulsively rewatchable. It's excellent.
I mean, anyone who puts it anywhere in their top 10 don't get any argument from me. Like, it's obviously an excellent television comedy.
Okay. All right. Okay. Fair. I mean, not in your top 10. I think you might hear a little bit about that.
Just outside. It's a really good show. I really like it. Like, don't.
All right. So that one, you said before you had 30 Rock mid bubble.
Yeah, that was tight bubble. Just got cut.
This is tight bubble.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to help you out in the
I appreciate
in the online harassment you're gonna get.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm ready for it. I'm used to it by now. No, actually, I have to say I'm getting more people agreeing with me than I thought. But anyway, moving on. I just jinxed that anyway. That's a jinx. Yeah. Man, wow. Why did I say that out loud? Oh, my God. All right.
That's going to come to a crashing halt with this.
All right. I'll move on to my number 5 then. Okay.
All right.
So my number 5 is, again, a repeat. And I was surprised you had it so high. I was surprised it ended up this high for me, but here I am with Scrubs at number 5.
All right.
I did not expect us to have it that close. I really didn't.
Neither did I.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So a couple things that I really like about it. I mean, I really like Elliot, played by Sarah Chalk, and her with JD. I think that's a great TV couple, and I enjoy their romance, or whatever you want to call it. The second best romance on the show, though, behind the bromance of Turk and JD, which is one of the best bromances ever on TV.
Oh, man.
And I really liked how inventive some of their episodes could be. There was a late season episode, I think season 6, called My Musical. It was an entirely musical episode, which can be gimmicky, but that one they knocked it out of the park. I thought it was great. And there's an especially emotional episode for Dr. Cox, especially with like I don't want to spoil it, kind of like a Sixth Sense like twist at the end. It's really good.
I know which one you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very good episode.
Called My Screw Up. Anyway.
And just really well done, too.
Yes, so good. And it's that combination of hilarity, inventives, got cutaways and daydreams and meta humor and all kinds of stuff, but then it can, within the span of 10 seconds, become like an emotionally powerful medical drama about characters you care about. So yeah,
here's what I found with Scrubs.
Okay,
as I was making this list, Scrubs to me felt like a strangely forgettable show in a way. Like it did come to my mind as I was writing shows down, but what was interesting was what happened once it came to my mind. It went from, oh, that's definitely a maybe for this list, to just up,
That's
up,
fascinating because that is exactly what happened to me.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's the exact process. I thought of it late. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I guess Scrubs I should write down. And then I had to put it above this and above that. Next thing I know, it's top 5.
Yeah, and you just start remembering episodes.
Yeah,
and that's what start remembering these moments, and you realize like that show was just plain great. It was really, really good, and I think people sleep on it now.
Yeah, I mean,
or maybe they don't. I don't know.
I think I slept on it a little bit until the exercise of doing this podcast episode made me remember it. Really,
one of the first things after I got my list in order prior to us getting ready to go on the air and everything,
right,
was I remember thinking to myself, man, I really got to rewatch Scrubs.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Me too. We're in complete agreement on that. That's so weird.
Yeah.
Almost the same placement too. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't really agree that closely on many things.
Yeah. So this is strange.
Yeah. I had the feeling when I put it down, I'm like, all right, Scott's either going to have this really high
or not at all.
Gonna have it, or not at all.
Yeah.
So
there we
flip of the coin, and there it is.
There it is.
Yeah, I did not see that one as being a bubble one for you. It was one that was either going to be all in or all out.
Yeah, I wrote it down as a bubble one, but then when I thought about it, like you, I'm like, no, that's above that, and no, that's above that, and yeah, that's how it went.
Yeah, it's a great show, and I want to rewatch it. Like I want to put an episode on when we're done recording.
There you go. All right, so no stickers yet though, but that's still my number 5. So keep us going. Number 4.
That's an excellent number 5. All right, number 4, very much in the same vein as my number 5, but I prefer this one.
Oh, okay.
Parks and Recreation.
Oh, okay.
Parks and Recreation, for those who don't know, is, again, it's kind of that mockumentary style. And again, I remember when it first came out, I was excited about it. I thought, oh, that seems like a cool idea.
Right.
And I remember I really enjoyed Amy Poehler's work, and I thought that she was going to do a nice job. She was ready for that kind of thing. I was excited to see her in that kind of role.
Right.
And it came on, and at first they had her as this very just wooden. She wasn't Amy Poehler at all, and they weren't playing to any of her strengths. And I was really underwhelmed by that show at first, and I imagine I'm probably not alone in that.
It's a rough start. Yeah,
it was a rough. And then they decided, okay, let's stop trying to be The Office.
Yeah,
and let's start
they rely
trying to
a lot
be
less
us.
on the mockumentary stuff later on, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it found its legs when it realized, oh, wait a minute, all of our minor characters are fantastic. Let's give them more of a voice.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, Ron Swanson.
Oh I know God. You love Ron Swanson, yeah.
Ron Swanson's Pyramid of Excellence is one of the greatest creations of all time. And the episode where he does a hamburger cook-off with Chris, Chris the vegetarian,
who has honed his perfect veggie burger recipe over decades, has so many fancy ingredients and cooking methods, and everyone tastes it and they're like, oh yeah, that's delicious. And then he slaps down, this is a bun with a burger patty on it. Put ketchup on it or not.
This is a plain beef patty between two, whatever brand buns.
Yeah.
You can put ketchup on it. I don't care.
And Chris is like, I thought you were going to try. And then everyone takes a bite and they go, oh yeah, that's better.
He immediately wins.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Ron Swanson. Yeah. And every single time any one of the Tammys appears, because all of Ron's ex-wives' names are Tammy.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant in and of itself.
Pt.2, played by his real life wife, Megan Mullally, is hilarious.
That's the funniest one by far.
Yeah.
But any of the Tammys are great, but Tammy 2 is just her mission in life is to destroy him. It's Tom Haverford.
Yeah.
Just that show's it's really, really good. And it's
so that one ahead of The Office. Okay.
I preferred it because I felt like I just enjoyed the characters.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit more renegade. Like there were things that were, so The Office was very realist, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There wasn't, I mean, aside from Dwight, I guess Dwight is definitely not realistic.
Yeah.
But aside from that, The Office hews pretty close to stuff that you would actually see. But like Parks and Rec doesn't, it gets a little out there and does really hilarious stuff because it's willing to experiment a bit more.
Yeah, it does some fun stuff. Yeah.
The Lil Sebastian episodes.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Oh my god, they're so good.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Parks and Rec number 4.
It's Parks and Recreation number 4 for me. It's a great show, very slow start. So if you have not seen it, you decide you want to give that a try.
Through the beginning as it finds its footing.
Yeah. And you know, we talked about that with How I Met Your Mother. And
yeah. It can happen. I would rather
it does.
a show
it happens
get
with
better.
comedies.
Yeah. Than like Arrested Development fall apart at the end.
Oh god, it's still so sad to me.
Yeah. Okay. Good pick. All right.
All right.
Parks and Rec number 4.
All right. What's your number 4?
All right, my number 4. Maybe I surprised myself with how high I had this. I thought maybe I had mellowed on it a little bit. But then I started to think about all the classic episodes, and I'm like, no, this has to be high. So it first aired in, I think, the year 2000, and it is still going. I think there's going to be more. The last season was a couple years ago now, though. But it's off and on. If he gets to more, there'll be more. Anyway, it is Larry David's Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yes.
All right, so I have Curb at number 4, created by Larry David, who famously co-created Seinfeld with Jerry Seinfeld, in which he plays himself, or well, a version of himself, Larry David.
It's not too far off.
Not too far off. And he is a cranky, curmudgeony, middle-aged man who...
See, I disagree.
No. Think... whose life happens to him, and anyway, and yet I relate so much to him. His worldview is my own. I don't say it out loud as much as he does, but yeah, it's so good.
That show is brilliant on so many levels. Yeah. And yes, Larry's character, his persona, his alter ego, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
See, people, I've often heard from people who say they don't like that show because it's too cringy. Like, they don't, like, he says things that put him into terrible situations.
Yeah.
And he does things that put him in terrible situations that are extremely awkward for people.
Yeah. It's heavy on the awkward humor. And if that, for you, elicits more cringe than laughter, then I guess I can see that, yeah.
But how often, and this is what I always come back to, how often is Larry wrong?
Yeah, not often.
And my wife and I will get into this. She's a fan of the show.
Oh, okay.
But we'll get into it because I'll say, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
I mean,
And she's saying, of course you would think that. Of course.
Well, here's the thing. I'll back you up. He's not wrong. He expresses it very wrong. But the underlying sentiments and his positions are very much like my own. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I love about Curb Your Enthusiasm is that it starts off as kind of a almost like very realistic, this is Larry David, this is his life.
Yeah.
You know, and look at these situations he gets into that are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And as it goes on, the later seasons,
the life situations
is
he get into
they're just insane. Like he lives in a condo underneath Michael J. Fox, and because of the Parkinson's, Michael J. Fox and him have this ongoing battle because Michael J. Fox wears these boots at night to help him with the Parkinson's, and they clomp, and Larry goes up and gets mad at him, and he says it's for the Parkinson's, and Larry doesn't believe him. He thinks he's using the Parkinson's as an excuse. And then Michael J. Fox offers him a soda, and it explodes all over Larry.
Because of the Parkinson's, it's been shaking.
He just looks at him and he goes, Parkinson's. And the best part is, you as the viewer, you also have no idea. And this is a testament to the way Michael J. Fox plays himself in this episode.
Oh, he's great, yeah.
As you have no idea whether or not it's the Parkinson's or whether or not he's doing it because he hates Larry.
Yeah.
But it's and the dynamic between Larry and Jeff's wife, Susie.
Oh, Susie, one of the most foul-mouthed characters in television history.
She is amazing.
Yeah.
And I still think that Larry David and Leon.
Oh, JB Smoove. Yeah.
They are the greatest odd couple possibly in the history of television.
It's a great odd couple, yeah.
And he started off as just this minor character.
Yeah.
And he owned it.
Yep. Had to have more of him. and I will say I really liked when he was married to Cheryl. I thought that was a good dynamic, and I was worried for the show when, spoilers, they break up. But then the show got to just have lots of fun with that, and it handled it well.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And Leon trying to give Larry life advice. When Leon sincerely thinks that the title of the book is Moby Dick, he refers to Larry as Moby Dick because he's got a Moby Dick.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God.
Okay, so just a couple episodes I wanted to shout out. The Carpool Lane is a great episode with the Dodgers game.
Yeah. Monina, the prostitute.
I want to give a shout out to.
Act like you're with me.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to the Shack episode that I think is some of the best written episodes.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe the most agreed upon best episode of the show. I mean, this is probably controversial. I don't know. But the doll.
The doll's head.
The doll's head episode is a masterpiece.
Bring me the head.
Any episode that ends with your protagonist being assumed to be a child molester and jumping out a bathroom window, it's just great comedy.
Excuse me, are you Jewish? You want to see my penis?
Yeah.
That show is like, if you thought that the writing on Seinfeld was good and is tight, and you liked the way that things circle back on it themselves and all of that.
Yeah, it's really good with that formula. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so Curb Your Enthusiasm, number 4 for me.
Very good, very good.
All right. And now, before we continue, let's take a quick break.
Hi, thank you for listening to Lists. This podcast is infinitely more fun when we get to interact with you. Send us your lists. Tell us when you agree or disagree with our lists. Send us ideas for topics you want us to do. Join the conversation any way you want to or any way you can. You can reach us directly by emailing us at liststhepod@gmail.com. That's liststhepod@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at liststhepod. As always, you can find every episode of this podcast, links to our social media, links to polls, links to other fun stuff on our website, which is listthepodcast.com.
Nothing but the top 3 now. We're getting way up there.
Yeah, with number 3, things are going to get tricky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And, this is
controversial pick or what?
This is a controversial pick for reasons that are going to be obvious in a second.
Okay.
And let me preface this by saying that I do think that this is something that should be talked about. And I do want to hear from listeners about this issue to the extent that they want to talk about it.
Oh, I know what this is. Okay.
It's really hard. And so my number,
before you reveal, I'll just preempt you and say it got left off my list for the reason.
Okay. Yeah.
I just crossed it off, and
it almost got left off my list for that reason. Yeah. And actually, I don't have one number 3. I have 2 number 3s.
Well, you can't do that.
No. Listen to my reasoning.
Okay.
Because the one is so potentially disqualified. Let's put it that way.
It probably should be, I guess. But yeah, okay.
Potentially culturally disqualified, right?
Yeah.
Because of that, there was one that I felt should be really, really high, but I wasn't sure if it counted as a show because it was almost more like a mini series. So anyway, I'm going to give you the names of the 2 of them first, okay. and I'll explain why after that. Okay.
Yep.
So the controversial one, and then I'll get into why it's controversial after I reveal the other one.
Okay.
The controversial one is Louie.
Yeah.
Which is the show that Louis C.K. did on FX for a number of years.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know,
how could you
Louis
know? But yeah,
I mean, Louis C.K. is a comedian who, probably 18 months ago, was it 2 years?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But recently enough, Louis C.K. got into trouble because it was revealed that he had been using his position as an established comedian to pressure women into
sexual encounters. Yeah,
sexual encounters, and to harass them and to be basically a piece of crap, right?
Yeah,
like that's the thing that just can't be left off the table here. No. Is what it boils down to at the end of the day, however you wanted to describe it, was he was being a piece of crap.
Yeah.
And all right.
Abusive of their power, piece of crap. Yeah.
Well, and also just generally degrading to women, and yes. Yeah. Anyway, so
down with the patriarchy and toxic masculinity and all that stuff. Yes.
Which I'm all for.
Yeah.
Which is why this is a really complex thing for me. And I'm going to circle back to that in 1 second. Okay. And I'm going to reveal what the other one that's my other number 3 is.
All right.
My other number 3 is an Amazon show. And again, I'm not sure if it's a show because there were 2 series of it and it's done. And I'm not sure if it counts as a show. It's Fleabag. Oh. Phoebe Waller-Bridges. I believe it was a one-woman stage play, right?
The first season was, yeah.
Yeah, and then it became a show on Amazon, and then they did a second season, and it's done now.
Yeah.
So
12 half-hour episodes. That's all it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So with Louis, obviously, I was torn with whether or not to include that because of all the stuff that Louis C.K. did, and with the person he apparently is, which I'm not cool with.
Yeah.
With Fleabag, I wasn't sure to include it because I wasn't sure if it counted as being a show.
Right.
So what I did was I asked myself, where would I place each of these if I took the issues out of them? Now, obviously, the issues with Louis are far more serious than the issues with Fleabag.
Yeah, there are no issues with Fleabag.
There are, right.
Yeah.
And for me, Fleabag was a legit number 3. And for me, Louis, if none of that had ever happened, was my number 3. And for me, I guess there's a conversation there.
Yeah.
That has to do with, is it possible to separate the art from the artist? And this is something that we're probably obviously you had a sticker pick that was Roman Polanski. Roman Polanski very famously has been accused of, and essentially it's widely understood that he raped a 13-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And he's been living in exile. And I don't know. I don't have the answer to this question, and I think that I'm not in a position to have the answer to this question because I come from that position of power.
Yeah.
And so, listen, the last thing in the world we need right now are two straight white guys' opinions on whether or not you can separate the art from the artist when the artist screws up.
Yeah, that's very true.
The only thing I know is it's hard.
Yeah.
And I don't know the answer because you go back through history and so many people that are great artists, are our great leaders, all that were complete pieces of shit.
Yeah.
John Lennon beat women.
Yeah.
He was not a good like all of the Beatles. Some of the stories you hear about the stuff, like George Harrison lost his virginity in a room while the other three Beatles were there cheering him on. Like,
yikes.
Like this is not good stuff. Like Paul McCartney's been accused by numerous women of being physically abusive. There are, and that's on the light side. Like, Ernest Hemingway is one of my favorite writers. Again, complete dirtbag.
Yeah.
And I don't, that. So what I'm saying is, I don't know what to do with that. And I feel like it's okay to say I don't know what to do with that. But I also want to acknowledge that it's a lot easier for me to not know what to do with that.
Yes.
Because of the position I'm in as a straight white man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
These aren't things that, I've directly experienced. And so that compartmentalization, it's, it would be perfectly easy for me to go, well, of course, you just compartmentalize it. Woody Allen's movies are great. Who cares if he's a pedophile? But that's not... No. It's too easy for me to see the other side.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well said. In the context of this list's episode, Top 10 TV Comedies, I think I can help you. At number 3, I have Fleabag.
Oh. Well, There you go. You gave me an out.
There you go. I have Fleabag all the way up at number 3. And I think we should just now talk about Fleabag and how great it is.
I think that's probably a really good idea. Now,
okay.
I also, before we get into...
okay.
So Fleabag, all right, forget it. We're putting all the other stuff aside. I want to be very respectful of all of that, and I want to hear from people who do want to talk about it, and I want to hear from people who don't want to talk about it. That's great.
Yeah, that's if you want to talk about email is great. We can get into conversations.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
That's certainly not something we're going to turn into a poll.
Oh God, no!
Good Lord. Because we're not the type of people who believe that the world is just a giant binary. Like everybody else seems to. Anyway, Fleabag, the reason I want to say something about Fleabag before we go further into Fleabag is that it's also my sticker pick.
Oh, okay. I'm glad that I almost did too. It's not, but I'm glad one of us is sticker picking it.
Okay, so we both have 3 Fleabag, and it is my sticker pick. Why don't you intro the show to us?
Okay, so Fleabag is written by and stars Phoebe Waller-Bridge,
who is a genius.
She is a blindingly mega talented person. It's
not even fair how gifted she is.
I'm very jealous. So anyway, she stars as Fleabag. Her character is never named anything else.
Yep.
And she's a young woman in London, right?
Yep.
And she doesn't exactly get along with the rest of her family. She's kind of off on her own. Her sister, her sister Claire is a great main character,
and so Fleabag is very free spirited, and she's very open minded, and is very much about her own self expression. And she runs a little cafe that's guinea pig themed.
That's right.
And so she's very personable and very outgoing and very, 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 very funny and witty. She's the type of person that lights up a room and people love to be around her. And her sister Claire is this extremely uptight person who is married.
Successful
businesswoman. Very, very uptight. Jealous of her sisters.
Biggest tool in the world.
Oh my God, he's a scumbag.
Yeah.
But very funny.
Yes. But I guess we should say one of the main devices or hooks of the show is that she constantly breaks the fourth wall and looks and talks to the camera.
Yes, constantly.
Yeah.
So she's always breaking the fourth wall as a way of reflecting on things, and she does it in these hilarious moments. Like it'll be in the middle of the throes of lousy, terrible sex with someone who thinks that he's amazing at it, right? And she'll look right at the camera and say something and make a remark or something like that.
Right.
It's brilliantly done. So she and her sister do not get along, but at the same time they have this unbreakable bond because they're sisters. Their mother died and their father ended up marrying one of her art students,
their godmother.
Their godmother, and she's
played by Olivia Colman,
played by Mella, who you'll remember from our detectives episode was Detective Mella on
So a very different character in this show, and she's hilarious.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
as stepmom.
And her only name is Stepmom, and she's terrible. And so the sisters simultaneously don't get along and are one another's only
and best friends.
True point. And then there's also this. I don't want to give away too much, but there's kind of a lot of the drama from the first season.
Fleabag is a little broken because her best friend recently died.
Yeah, and it's a little more complicated
than that.
Yeah. So we'll just leave it at that.
Spoiler free. Okay.
Yeah. And so she's trying to work through these emotions by, in many ways, repressing them and by acting out and things like that, as people do. And it's getting her into trouble with her family. She's always in trouble with her family. She's the black sheep of the family. One of my favorite moments in the entire show is when the father gives the daughters, his daughters, not tickets to, but a weekend or a week at a silent retreat.
Yeah.
And so they're at this, it's designed to be a women's silent retreat where women get to go and be around other women in solidarity and grow and all of that. And it's definitely, the show definitely treats it like a crock, right?
They're used to clean the grounds, basically.
Yeah. But the brilliance of it is that right next door is this men's retreat where the men are allowed to finally express their anger, their repressed anger that society won't let them express, which is
about women,
which is essentially just them screaming at a blow-up doll all the time and just scream. So you'll see the two sisters looking at each other as they're cleaning a floor and all of this, and all of a sudden through the window you hear these obscenities being screamed.
Yeah.
And Fleabag, of course, can't help but crack up at this.
But wander over and engage. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And all this said, and I think season 2 is better than season 1.
Oh, season 2 is so good. Yeah.
But the thing about Fleabag that I think even though it's 12 half-hour episodes and half of them just aired like 3 months ago. So it's recency bias and there's so few. But I have it so high because... yes, and because I, in multiple episodes of each season, had literal tears streaming down my face. It's like profound. It's
absolutely
funny and smart and
heartbreaking.
Oh, it's just, I mean, it's 6 hours and it's both of us top 3 TV comedies ever.
And and my sticker pick. Like it's
gotta go watch Fleabag.
I really want to urge people to watch this because it's so it's just so brilliantly written and so brilliantly acted and it's remarkable. And again, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, oh my God, she is just such a remarkably talented human being. She's writing the new James Bond movie, right?
Well, no, she's rewriting and entering some jokes in. She's not writing the whole thing. Yeah. Did you watch Crashing that she wrote and acted in?
No, but I again,
it's like 6 episodes. It was just a season, and she wasn't the main character. She's like a side character, but it's good. I mean, she wrote every episode. And then she also created and wrote several episodes of the show Killing Eve.
Oh, that's right. I know Becky has watched that.
I really liked the episodes that she wrote. That's what I'll say about Killing Eve.
If for those of you who are Star Wars fans and saw the Han Solo standalone movie, Phoebe Waller-Bridge voiced Lando Calrissian's droid, and performed. Like they had little motion capture balls on her, and just brought such a humanity and a hilarity to that really minor character. I mean, she almost stole the entire movie.
Yeah, but Fleabag, cannot recommend it enough. You just gotta watch it.
It's sensational. Yes.
Yep. And I will immediately see whatever she does for the rest of time.
Yeah.
Like I am on that bandwagon for life.
If she put out an album, I would listen to the album.
I would listen to it.
If she wrote a novel, I would read the novel. I think she is one of those people that no matter what they do, there's a 98% chance that it's going to be excellent.
Yep. All right. Well, that was interesting. We both had it all the way up at 3.
That's really surprising. I was wondering as I was writing it down if you'd even heard of it.
Oh, okay.
Which is not, I don't mean that as a like any sort of pretentious statement or anything like that. Just because I wasn't sure if it was something that was, your type of deal.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. I should have known that you would have heard of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's our number 3s.
Wow. All right. Now our number 3s are aligned.
Yeah, that's not funny. Let's not even dwell on that.
You don't want to know what my son calls a number 3.
No, I do not want to know. All right.
All I'll say is he's a 9-year-old boy.
Yeah, okay. Number 2.
All right, my turn.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you go first.
Well, number 2 should be pretty easy because you've talked about this already.
Oh, okay.
Number 2, you can probably guess. How I Met Your Mother.
I hate you.
Oh, God. That was good.
Hilarious.
Number 2 is Curb Your Enthusiasm, which I am such a huge fan of this show.
It's fantastic.
I love that
we've had a lot the same. This is interesting.
I was actually just going and circling them. We've got 4 the same.
Yeah, this is I did not expect this at all. I thought ours would be a lot different.
And I can guarantee that we've got 5. Our number 1 is the same.
Our number 1's probably the same.
Yeah. Well, as everyone should be on this list.
Well, we'll get there.
Yeah. Anyway, but Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Number 2.
I just, it's everything I want to be.
Yep.
But also everything that I'm afraid I might be.
That's well said.
Yeah.
That's well said.
I cannot get enough of Curb, and like the Palestinian chicken episode. Oh my god. Anything where Marty Funkhauser's in it is amazing.
Oh, yes. Shout out to Crazy Eyed Killer.
Oh my god, what a great episode that was. It's brilliant. It's such a good show. They did an entire season where he's getting ready to be in The Producers on Broadway. And he can't get along with any of his co-stars.
Yeah. Needless to say, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, doesn't exactly work out well for him.
Yeah.
Just his little ticks and quirks and his refusal to back down is so absurd that it gets to the point where you just respect the hell out of it.
Yeah.
And
or shake your head and turn off it and don't put it on your list, but that's not me.
No, I don't do that either. I obviously the show's fantastic. I love it to death. I hope that it goes on forever. I know that Larry comes and goes with it. He's he'll never commit to doing another season. And what we didn't talk about with it is that it's not scripted.
Right. They write like outlines of like, this scene is about this. Go.
We need to at least hit this point and this point so that we can have it all together. Otherwise, just go. And the show is just these brilliant comedians riffing off of one another. And it's
in the context of a story and in characters, and it's like live dialogue.
Do you remember the nurse who took Richard's Mickey Mantle ball?
Yeah.
And Larry's hypothesis stir. I don't want to get too into the weeds here and lose people on it, but holy crap. Like, this show goes to places you would never imagine going.
Yeah.
It's just great. Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's so good. And it's profane in all of the best ways possible.
That's very true.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Well, that was my 4, so obviously I'm basically agreeing with you entirely. Yeah.
That's my 2, which is I mean, and I felt really good about putting it there.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll do number 2 then.
All right.
So this one, I kind of surprised myself slightly that it's my number 2 TV comedy of all time. Because I didn't watch it as it aired. I caught it for the first time like a year and a half ago. And I binged the whole thing. So it's definitely recency bias. But I absolutely love the show. I think it's kind of perfect, except for one part. And I just am in love with all the characters. And I think it's going to stick up there for me. I feel pretty confident about it.
So it's a show that completed its run.
Yes, and we've already talked about it. It's Parks and Recreation.
Oh, okay. You know what? Excellent poker face, my friend.
Oh, thank you. I worked on my poker voice on that one.
That was really good.
Thank you.
You made it sound like
to keep
Parks and Rec wasn't going to be even on your list.
Number 2.
Number 2. So our 4s and 2s are flipped.
Yeah, switch them.
We got number 3s aligned and 2 and 4s flipped.
And 1 probably aligned.
We're messing with the system here.
Wow. We really don't consult. This was entirely done on our own.
This is insane.
Yeah. So anyway, I just want to talk about Parks and Rec.
60% of our lists are the same. You know,
I know.
That makes sense to me, actually, because our one thing where we haven't diverged much over the years as we've grown up is our sense of humor. Yep.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so I want to talk briefly about Parks and Rec.
Yes, please.
And why it's all the way up at number 2.
That's a high rank.
And I can talk to you about Ron Swanson and Tom Haverford and April and Andy, who I love, who in the Jim and Pam tradition get together very early and never break up. And then, well, sort of in the tradition. And then obviously the show has a rough start, right?
Very.
The first season is like 8 episodes and they're not great. And then season 2's better, but it's still not hitting on all cylinders until Ben and Chris join the show, I think.
Yeah, that's when the show found it.
Yeah, so Adam Scott and Rob Lowe joined the show towards the end of season 2. And from there, it just skyrockets for me. But all of those characters and funny things said, the reason why it's all the way up at number 2, it's all about Leslie Knope for me. I love Leslie. Like, I wanted things to go well for her. I wanted the best for her. She's like flawed. She's not perfect. She's flawed.
Right.
But she's like the most wonderful human being ever depicted on television.
And she's an idealist who works in government. Which is like, it's
despite the fact
worst possible place for an idealist, and she never loses it.
No, she remains an idealist despite being beaten down.
And she wins.
But she has successes. Yeah. And I wanted that for her, and I'm happy for her. I cry when things go well for her. There's weddings and proposals and harvest festivals and
the harvest festivals. Oh my God! When Jerry gets lost in the corn maze.
Yeah, that's hilarious. but the point is, like, I love Leslie Knope, and that's why it's number 2 for me. Like, I would vote for her if she was a real person for president.
Are you kidding me? She'd be the best president we've ever had.
I know. I'm all about Leslie Knope, and that tipped it over other things for me all the way up to number 2.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's such a good show.
Like, I forget what season it is. Maybe 5. It opens where they go to London. And it ends with her giving an itinerary to Ron as like just a nice thing that she does for him. And it ends like a montage of this gift she's given him. And it's just such a beautiful, wonderful thing to do to another human being. Anyway.
You know what I forgot about? One of the all-time great Ron Swanson moments. Do you remember when he's having a pig roast in the park? And the police officer comes up.
Yes. This is just a piece of paper. Yeah.
Sir, you need a permit for this. He takes, pulls out of his pocket a sheet of paper that has one line in probably like size 10 font from a typewriter. And it says, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And not to mention all the like side characters like Fonzie himself. Henry Winkler's great. And his son and daughter are hilarious.
Oh my God.
Sean Ralphio
and
any show that can have Seattle Supersonics forward Detlef Schrempf as a returning character, just it's too good. It's too good.
Who's the councilman that she gets into it with later on?
Jam.
Yeah, you got jammed.
You got jammed. Like, yeah.
He's a councilman who has a line, like he has a tagline for himself.
Yeah.
Little Sebastian, like they legit make you cry when Little Sebastian, this little tiny pony, dies.
That song, bye bye Little Sebastian. Anyway, I love the Little Sebastian song. I love everything about the show. And you know, I don't think we've ever mentioned that the biggest star is Chris Pratt
who's amazing on that show.
Is Andy on that show?
Burt Macklin.
You son of a bitch.
Burt Macklin is his alter ego on the show. Whenever he needs to do something sneaky, he turns
FBI agent
Burt Macklin.
And Paul Rudd plays a political candidate.
Oh my god, a complete
Leslie
idiot.
runs against, and he's great. It's just, I love the show. It's just great.
The feud they have with the other town.
Oh, Eagleton. It's the horrible, violent murals in their city hall.
What's beautiful about Parks and Recreation at the end of the day is it is especially in this day and age, and I don't mean to get too deep here, but in a day and age where we are completely focused on national issues and these insane debates and are so polarized and all of that, this is a show that's all about a local community that the people in it love, and they get annoyed by each other, they get annoyed by things, but they care about the place where they live and they want it to be better. And that's a beautiful thing right now.
It's a good-hearted, optimistic show, and it works.
Right. Yeah. About the thing in our world that is easiest
local
to get,
government. Yeah.
That you could get so pessimistic about. It's government. Yeah.
Right.
It's brilliant, and it reminds you of the fact that, you know what, it doesn't always have to be the national stage. I can do things for my neighbor and for the town where I live, and that makes life better. And and not that the show's political in any way. It certainly is not.
No.
Except in probably the broadest sense. But just seeing that is such a pleasant and nice thing, because Ron, like Scott and I feel free speaking for you here because I've known you for so long. Ron Swanson, I disagree with literally every single one of his political ideologies.
Yeah, but I love him. And
he is a hardcore, unbending, macho libertarian.
Libertarian's probably not strong enough for what he is.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he cares so much, and he's a good
and I care
person,
about him,
and you care about him for that.
And his relationship with Leslie is just great.
Yeah, and she's the exact opposite. Like, she's a bleeding heart liberal, right?
Yeah.
And
whether you are that or not, you still love her and care about her.
Yeah. And the two of them going at it constantly. Like, he's trying constantly to make them do nothing, and she's trying to take on these enormous projects, but they balance each other out in this beautiful way. Like, he grounds her, and she causes him to understand that he's got to engage with humanity a little bit.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good. I can see why it would be a number 2.
Okay. Well, it's not far off for you. It's 4.
Yeah,
so.
It's 4. And it's those 4, 3, and 2 are very close. I do love Curb. Yeah. Oh man. Curb's.
And now, before we continue, let's take a quick break. Thanks for listening to Lists. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode. And, if you like what we're doing, please leave us a rating and review. 5 stars, 5 stars. It really helps us grow and get the word out, especially as this podcast is still very new. So thanks in advance, and now let's get back to the lists. I think this is crazy. Our top 4s are the same. That's insane. It's not the same order.
Right.
I mean, I'm jumping the gun on number 1, but I know you, and I feel pretty safe about that.
Yeah, number 1 is Seinfeld, right?
Yeah, let's just get to it. Number 1 is Seinfeld.
Yeah. What can you possibly say? Like, this is a show that started in 1989, was off the air by 98.
98, yeah.
And you could put an episode on, and I've done this recently. You could put an episode on right now.
Yep.
And it feels fresh, and it's it's not just funny. It's hilarious.
The only way it's aged is like cell phone, the absence of them. That's really, and the fashion. But other than that, it could be on right now.
It really, really could. I mean, it's astonishing to me that a show that started in 1989.
Yeah.
30 years ago.
That is 30 years. Jesus. All right.
It started 30 years ago. Is that watchable today? Now, let's jump back to like 1998, right? Go back 30 years. Were there any shows that were still watchable in the same way? Like stuff from 1968? Like
I don't know, but probably not.
The Mary Tyler Moore Show, I don't like what was on there, you know?
Well, that's not the 60s, but yeah.
But they had aged, do you know what I mean? Like
Right. I liked Mary Tyler Moore and Rhoda.
No. Right. It's enjoyable.
All right, okay. Fred Baxter's hilarious.
I'm not knocking it. But I'm saying is like you put on an episode of Taxi in 1998 and it felt old.
I love Taxi too. That was on my short list.
Good God, here we
go. I get your point. Yes, you're right. Yes.
I don't know. Seinfeld is just, and again, quotable.
So quotable. Absolute classic.
Man. It's, you want to know what the greatest testament to Seinfeld is?
What?
Right. So as listeners of the pod know, I am a teacher. I teach 9th grade. I teach 11th grade. I get 10th graders, obviously, in those classes. I get seniors in those classes. I'm around high school students all the time. And I have been for the majority of my adult life. They watch Seinfeld.
Still?
Yes.
That makes me feel more optimistic about the world.
Right? Doesn't it?
It does. That warms my heart that kids still watch Seinfeld. That makes me feel more hope for future generations.
The 3 shows that my students watch the most compulsively are Friends, The Office, and Seinfeld.
Yeah. That would have been my guesses. Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, you can do a hell of a lot worse than those 3 shows.
Absolutely. Friends was a bubble show for me.
Friends was a bubble show for me as well.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we're not doing Seinfeld justice because we're not talking about it as much as we talked about the other stuff.
I know.
But
it's kind of like, what is there to say? It's number one.
It's like...
It's the greatest TV comedy of all time.
What else would you have there, you savage?
Yeah, like what else do you want me to say?
It's self-explanatory.
None of these. It's interesting. My list is populated by shows with characters I care about that have emotion and dramatic moments on a comedy list, and yet here at number 1 is a show that didn't ever even try to do any of that.
Well, in fact, as a rule, would not even attempt it, would not allow it.
Yep, it's just straight. These are mostly pretty terrible human beings doing terrible things and being funny, and that's all this is.
It's brilliant. And you know what, as you look down the list, right? Like, how many of these shows... Look at the debt that they owe to Seinfeld. Like Curb Your Enthusiasm, it's obvious, right?
Well, yeah, that's Larry David, yeah.
But you take a show like Fleabag and the ability to have a character that doesn't have to be, perfect, polished, anything like that. The hijinks and the contradictions and things like that. Parks and Rec.
I mean...
The Office.
Yeah, Always Sunny could not exist without Seinfeld.
It's Always Sunny. I always describe to people It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's a poor man's Seinfeld. It's just imagine Seinfeld if all of the characters were
Kramer.
were 300% worse human beings.
Okay, yeah.
That's what Sunny is. And that's what I think that's why I like Sunny so much, is that it reminds me of Seinfeld. Like every episode is a kind of, it's circling back, it's got its thing. They all come together at the end, and it's very Seinfeldian.
Yeah, Seinfeld, number 1. I don't know what else you want from us.
No, I don't know either.
I guess I know one thing people might want from us, though.
What?
My sticker.
Yeah, for God's sake, what?
Yeah, I guess I'm a habitual line stepper.
Oh my God!
And rule breaker.
Every episode. I know.
I don't intend to. I swear.
You don't intend to. You do it every episode.
Well, apparently, my sticker pick of the week didn't make my top 10.
No, that's not possible, you idiot. Oh my God.
No, I'm sorry. That's what I'm doing.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Somebody please help me. Somebody.
I will explain.
Somebody just please.
Let me explain.
I don't know how your wife lives with you. Is this how you handle the rules of your household?
Maybe.
Oh my God.
All right. Can I explain already?
You're going to, so here we go.
All right. Oh. So for my sticker pick of the week, it's a show that I couldn't in good conscience put on my top 10.
You know what? I'm interrupting you again. It's exhausting being friends with you.
All right, whatever. I don't care.
But yet, here I am.
Yeah, I'm worth it. Just keep up. All right.
All right. In good conscience, you couldn't put this on. I don't know why. Okay.
So let me explain. So the show is over. It just finished in like April of this year. So like 4 months ago. And it went for 5 seasons. I've only seen 3. I have to catch up to it.
HBO.
So that's why it couldn't. No, cable. So that's why it couldn't make my list. Because I don't know how good those last 2 seasons are, and they're done, and I haven't watched it yet, so I couldn't do it. But I think it's criminally underseen and under talked about. And that's why I really wanted to use my sticker on it.
Well, then you should have put it at number 10, you jerk.
And after I catch up, it probably will be, if not higher.
All right. Well, you're keeping us all in suspense. What is it?
Okay. All right. It's a show. It's on FX, or I guess FXX. But I looked it up, and you can watch it all on Hulu right now. It's called You're the Worst.
You're the worst.
Yeah, have you seen it?
I have not seen it.
See, it is underwatched and underappreciated, and it is magnificent. Okay, so You're the Worst centers on Jimmy and Gretchen, who are 2 toxic, self-destructive, terrible people who fall in love and attempt a relationship with each other. And they are cynical and sarcastic, almost mean-spirited people, hence the title. And through their relationship, they do some growing up and maturing, and also some self-destructive behavior against each other. And it is hilarious and very bitingly real. And their best friends, the side characters on the show, Edgar and Lindsay, are very funny and get in good situations. And then the special sauce is that later on, the groundwork's in season 1, but especially in season 2, you learn that one of those 2 people is dealing with like severe clinical depression, and the show's depiction of that was maybe the best I've ever seen in TV, comedy or drama. And it's just a fantastic show. Chris Gere plays Jimmy, who's a Brit in America. He published 1 book and it sold decently, but now he can't think of anything to write for book 2. And
I know what that feels
Gretchen like. Sorry, I knew that was going to cut a little. And then Gretchen is played by Aya Cash, who is magnificent, and I'm confused why she is not a huge movie star. I think she was in the show Fosse Verdon, but I haven't seen that yet. But anyway, You're the Worst. My sticker pick. Please search it out. It's really, really great.
Okay. Well, sticker pick. I'm definitely going to check it out. It's on Hulu. Okay.
It's on Hulu. Yeah.
So there you have.
Maybe not season 5 that just finished, but like the first 4 are there.
Okay. For you. So sticker picks for this week. You're the Worst, which did not make Scott's list.
For reasonable reasons, I thought. Reasonable reasons, Jesus.
Yeah, right, anyway. I was gonna let you have it.
No, I heard it. Okay.
And Fleabag.
Great sticker pick.
Yeah. Great. These are 2. Well, I don't know yours, but I feel really good about the sticker
Maybe
pick.
A little lesser known, so I'm glad those are our sticker picks.
Yeah, if we can get people to watch Fleabag, I'll be happy with this episode.
Yeah, me too.
I'm pretty sure.
You're the Worst. Yeah.
Okay. I'm definitely going to check that out. A couple shows I wanted to mention because I thought of them and they're the first one I want to mention, it's a very similar situation for me is I haven't seen the entire run, so I wasn't going to put it anywhere. Okay. You got to guess?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
Veep?
Yep. Veep.
Okay.
Yes.
I wrote it down too, and with a little asterisk next to it, because I have not watched any of it.
Oh, okay. Now I watched the first 2 seasons, and I will say, like, it's borderline pee yourself laughing. Like,
knowing myself and hearing people who have seen it, and like, it's on my radar. Like, if we redo this episode, it may be on my top 10.
The insults that these characters hurl at each other are
I like that.
Are masterpieces. They should be put into a book form and sold because I would buy it. I would literally buy just a collection of the insults that existed on Veep, and that's just from the first 2 seasons I've seen.
Oh, nice.
Anyway,
and that's obviously I love Julia Louis-Dreyfus from Seinfeld.
Right. Yep.
Right. So yeah, I definitely need to catch up and watch Veep.
So one more show I wanted to mention. This was my closest bubble one was New Girl.
Oh, okay. I love New Girl. Yeah.
And for me, the reason it didn't quite get there was because I couldn't bump 30 Rock. And and also I'm a Zooey Deschanel fan, but sometimes she gets a little too hipstery, twee for me.
Yeah.
Although they do a good job of mocking that on the show.
Yeah. I think she's really kind of perfect for that part, though.
That show's got some really, really funny characters. And
I love Schmidt. Schmidt.
Schmidt cracks me up.
Oh, okay. Well, there's our sense of humor being the same. Yeah, he cracks me up too.
And Winston, I love Winston so much.
With his cat. Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, never mind. New Girl is officially tied for number 10. Scott's gonna break rules.
No, only I can break rules. We're gonna edit this out.
Okay, and now I want to mention 2 shows that only got 1 season.
Oh, okay.
And this would have been, I want to say, probably around 2008, 2009. They were both on the air at the same time. They were both criminally underwatched.
Oh, okay.
They were never brought back.
That's too bad.
But they were hilarious. So if you can track down these shows, watch the first episode. And these didn't make my list because
there's
obviously
only
there's one season they didn't get a chance to end. They were canceled. And because, again, they were ahead of their time. The first one is Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23.
Oh, okay.
Which
I haven't seen it, but yeah.
It is.
I like her. What's
Kristen Ritter.
Kristen Ritter.
Yes. And
yeah, she's very good.
They need to put her back in that role, and they need to remake it for Netflix or something, because she plays this manipulative, evil wannabe socialite who gets by just by conning people. And
nice.
and she becomes roommates with this rube from Indiana who has moved to New York to pursue her dreams, and she's going to get married, and then she finds out her fiance's cheating on her and all this, yada, yada, yada.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
All right. And don't trust the bee in apartment 23.
It is brilliantly funny.
Oh, well, that's too bad it didn't come back.
Again, criminally underwatched and underrated. The second one is a show called Happy Endings.
Oh, I was going to say it if you didn't.
Really? Okay.
I love Happy Endings.
Oh my God, Happy Endings was so good. That show, it's about a group of friends,
right,
in Chicago, which is part I think of why I really loved it when it was on, because I recognize, I was living in Chicago at the time and recognized all the locations and everything, and it was a lot of fun to. This was also at a time where, for some reason, every show was set in Chicago. It was kind of weird.
And what's the Wayne's son name again?
Damon Wayans Jr.
Damon Wayans Jr. Right.
Yeah.
He and his girlfriend or wife on that show have hilarious chemistry.
They have amazing chemistry. They are so funny together. And
Happy Endings.
Happy Endings.
I'm with you.
Listen. I don't know.
I'm pissed that didn't come back too.
Right? Am I wrong?
It was so good.
You're completely right. So funny. And it was like, I want to say that it was like a Friends, but funnier.
Friends, but raunchier and more realistic.
And much more realistic and raunchier, and again, more focused on the humor. And for our generation,
Yes.
It was so good, and it really bummed me out when that show was canceled.
Oh, I didn't know you'd even seen that. I'm completely in agreement.
Yeah, and if you like Happy Endings, you would really like Don't Trust the Bee. It's friggin' hilarious. She has this ongoing feud with James Van Der Beek's assistant. So she lives across the hall from the actor James Van Der Beek, who plays a version of himself.
Oh, right, I knew that.
And she's always mooching off of him. And his assistant, who's a flamboyantly gay man, is onto her. And they go back and forth, and the banter between the two of them is absolutely phenomenal.
Okay.
All one season.
I will say, if you liked Happy Endings, then you'll definitely like You're the Worst as well. So.
Okay. Well, then that's all I need to know. I'm glad that Happy Endings. I thought you were going to be like, what are you talking about?
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay.
All
interesting.
Right. And just for the record, The Simpsons is great.
Yep.
Just didn't make my list.
In the beginning.
I haven't seen it recently enough to call it,
yeah.
As far as South Park goes, I feel like I outgrew that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know my brother is going to be, and my sister will both be appalled that Bob's Burgers is not on here. And I want to let them know this is going directly out to them, that Bob's Burgers and New Girl were like right there at 11.
Okay. I never really got into Bob's Burgers, so they can be mad at me, I guess.
It took me a little bit, and and it's hard too, because my wife refuses to watch anything animated.
Oh, okay.
Like there's a new show on Netflix that, if it continues the way it's going, is going to be top 10. It's called Big Mouth, and it is brilliantly funny.
But animated, so she won't watch it with
all you need to know is that Maya Rudolph voices a hormone monster. And it's all about going through puberty. It's excellent. Yeah. It's so good and so funny. So anyway, yeah. So quick, should we recap?
I want to give a couple then. Damn it, you don't get to be the only one.
All right. Well, no, I'm pretty sure
I'll do it even. I'll do it even faster. I'll do it even faster. I wanted to give a quick shout out to News Radio. I love that show.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah, I remember watching that.
Phil Hartman was great on it, and I kind of had a big crush on Maura Tierney.
Who didn't have a big crush on Maura Tierney?
Okay, that's fair.
Unless there was something wrong with you.
True. News Radio was great. And I wanted to give a shout out to That 70s Show.
I had that too, yeah.
Okay, especially the first 4 or 5 seasons, it was very inventive and creative.
It was,
and definitely was in consideration for me. And a long time, pretty conventional and popular show, but that I really liked and saw every episode of was Frasier. Just wanted to mention it.
I always hated Frasier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it felt uppity.
Yeah, I mean it is.
I don't care for uppity.
Yeah, I liked it anyway, but yeah, just wanted to quickly mention those.
All right, yeah, good mentions. That 70s show was really fun.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's run it down real fast then. You go ahead.
All right. 10, 30 Rock. 9, Heartbreakingly, Arrested Development. 8, Catastrophe. 7, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. 6, Scrubs. 5, The Office, the American version. 4, Parks and Recreation. 3, we mentioned was Louie and Fleabag, and we ended up going with Fleabag. If people want to know what I love about Louie, we'll talk about it. There are reasons I loved that show. 2, Curb Your Enthusiasm, and 1, of course, what else could it be? Seinfeld. My sticker pick, Fleabag. Watch Fleabag.
Excellent. All right. Number 10 for me, How I Met Your Mother. Number 9, Chappelle's Show. Number 8, MASH. Number 7, Atlanta. Number 6, tragically, Arrested Development. Number 5, Scrubs. Number 4, Curb Your Enthusiasm. Also number 3 for me, Fleabag. Number 2, Parks and Recreation. And our streams are still connected with Seinfeld at number 1.
We have...
And my off-list sticker pick of the week is You're the Worst. Please,
you are
please
the
track
worst.
down You're the
You
Worst.
You are the worst.
All right. But seriously, track it down.
That was too easy. The worst. We have 6 out of the 10 the same. Not in the same spots, but...
Yeah. I didn't expect it. I thought we'd have like 2.
I thought this one was going to be a big, battle royale argument.
It didn't turn out that way, did it?
This was a lot of just sharing some laughs. I had a good time.
Yeah, I had a good time too. Hopefully all of you listening did.
If you hadn't seen these shows, you're probably miserable right now, and we apologize.
Yes.
But you know what?
We're sorry about that.
Shame on you. Watch the shows.
Yeah, they're great shows. What are you doing? This is your fault. All right.
You have no one to blame for our podcast but yourselves.
That's right. So I guess that does it. That's the list. And I guess we'll take a quick break and then we'll come back and we'll announce next week's list topic.
All right. So that's our top 10 television comedies. And now it's time to figure out what we're going to do next week. This was cool because we both had, I think, good ideas, and we ended up flipping a coin. I won, so this is my idea.
It is, yes. Go ahead, give us the topic.
All right, I think this one's a little bit fun. Not take ourselves too seriously, but at the same, this may be a little too revealing. Actually, I don't know. I'm a little scared of it. Anyway, all right. Here's what it is.
Hopefully, the listeners are very kind. We'll see.
This could be really foolish. Anyway,
be forgiving.
So here's what it is. Okay. Top 10 guilty pleasures.
Ooh.
All right. So now let's talk rules.
Yeah, I immediately have some questions.
Right. Me too.
Okay. All right. So what can we choose from? Any type of guilty pleasure? What if I enjoy spam?
Right. Well, I mean, look, we're a media podcast, right?
Well, yes, that's what we're saying.
A culture and media podcast. So I think the smart thing for us to do here is to stick to, it needs to be either probably a band, a movie, a TV series, a book series, anything like that. Maybe you're a huge fan of the Hunger Games or something. Please don't send me hate mail. I'm not saying that should be a guilty pleasure.
Here it comes. The Cactus Army out to get you.
We're in trouble.
Yeah. That brings up implicitly, if we're including something on a guilty pleasures list, anyone who's not guilty about loving it is going to be pissed off at us.
Well, I mean, that'll generate interaction, won't it?
Yeah, it sure will. I look forward to all the emails. All right, so
no such thing as bad publicity, baby.
Yeah, well, we'll find out. So movies, TV, books, bands, anything sort of art or media that's close to any of that. Okay.
Yeah, I've anything that falls into the realm of media,
okay.
If something's outside of it, we feel like it's too outside of it, then we can fight each other on air.
Yeah. Okay. Just like your terrible #1 fictional detective.
Oh my god!
Go back and listen to that episode.
You're going back that far?
Really? Insanity. Yeah. That far. We're on episode 4 right now. It's not that far. All right.
Well, doing things with you makes it feel like a decade.
All right. Hilarious. So anything else? Rules?
I don't know. You know what? Let's say this. I think this is a good idea.
All right. What is it?
Why don't we... So we've got our rules and our restrictions, but there's definitely, I think, some room here for some ideas that maybe we haven't thought of. Let's put it out there to the people. Let us know. What do you think? Some rules and restrictions that what are we overlooking? Because we could have a giant blind spot here.
It's possible.
Or this could be, leaving it broad could just make it really interesting.
Yeah, this one seems pretty self-explanatory.
I think so.
Obviously, it's only guilty for you based on whether you feel guilty about it or not. That's a personal distinction, and that's fine.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I think as far as like sticking to media, like you're not going to put a food, right? I mean,
right.
That's just not the nature of what we're doing. It would be stupid.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no idea how I'm going to come up with 10 things I guiltily find pleasure in, but all right.
If you need help, I can probably tell you 10 things that you should feel guilty about liking.
Yeah, well, you see, that's not what this list is, asshole.
Maybe that's what it should be. Just each of us doing the other person's.
Maybe.
Oh,
it's
man.
whether you feel guilty about liking it. And I honestly don't feel guilty about much that I like, so it's going to be tough.
That's fair. You know what? I'll tell you who's going to be a great resource for both of us on this one.
Who?
Our wives.
Well, yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
All right, so next week we're doing top 10 guilty pleasures.
Top 10 guilty pleasures. I like it. And then,
all right.
Then the week after that, we're going to do the loser of the coin toss, but I'm not going to say it. I'm going to wait till the next episode. I like it.
Yeah, we got the next one all lined up.
You know what? That one's also really revealing. I don't like where we're headed.
Yeah, I know. People are going to get to know us too well. And they're going to judge us. And that's okay, I guess. I just got to get used to it.
Whatever.
Yeah, well, too late now. All right.
Yeah, we're in it. We're in it.
Yep. So that's next week. And yeah, thanks for listening to this one. And we'll catch you then.
Stick around. Yeah, it's going to be a fun one.